Welcome to the Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Do you want to step up your game? Pursue your dreams. Be the best version of yourself. The Reinvented Life is here to help. The Reinvented Life is about courage. It's about staying relevant. It takes grit. It defies gravity. It's about taking inventory of where you are today and where you want to go. Embrace change. Make things possible and reinvent your life. Call in with questions at 888-994-4995. Now, it's time to reinvent your life with Pamela Chanel.
Good, happy Monday to everyone. Welcome to the Reinvented Life. Boy, that song just always wants to get up and dance. Hope everyone is doing well today. You had a wonderful weekend. Things are starting to open up a little bit. I know weather's been brighter places, rainier some places. We're definitely in the middle of the spring showers here, but I'm so excited to welcome everyone to the Reinvented Life today. Introduce you to my guest. You know, this guest is all about people that are really willing to embrace change and are willing to be a stand for constantly evaluating their life, where they are, where they want to be going, is what they've been doing relevant to where they want to be. And so there's no one better than I can bring on for those reasons and many others than the gentleman I'm going to introduce you to. His name is Reggie Flowers. And Reggie is first and foremost a father of three. He is a proud father, amazing children. I'm sure he'll touch on that in our talk. And he has reinvented himself numerous times in his life. He is an author of this incredible book, The Art of the Struggle. And that is what it's all about on this show. We want to talk about real things for real people, real struggles, how you overcome it. Reggie is a serial entrepreneur, a man of faith, of integrity, of doing right and doing good. Welcome, everyone. Reginald, as we affectionately know him, Reggie Flowers. Very excited to welcome you to the show. Welcome to the Reinvented Life.
I'm excited to be here, Pamela Chanel. Thank you for having me.
Oh, couldn't be more excited about it. And as I mentioned, this show is really about showing people what's possible. You know, real people doing real things, going through life, overcoming the struggles. I mean, I couldn't think of anything more appropriate and more associated with the Reinvented Life than this. So I'm going to be excited to hear about that. But for our viewers and for our listeners, share a little bit, if you will, about yourself and what's brought you to really embrace this idea of change and a constant reinvention of yourself.
Absolutely. Well, first, I had to really begin the conversation by just letting your audience know how grateful I am to be on this morning. We've had the opportunity to go back many years, and I'll let you share that story. But watching you reinvent your life has been nothing more than a miraculous experience for me. Just seeing how you've done it, how you've impacted people, how you're scaling and growing is just really a testament of God's favor in your life and just your passion and purpose to serve others. So I know great things are in store for you. And I do understand that you are going to be one of those individuals that people remember because of your dedication to serving. So congratulations to you. For those of you who are on, my name is Reggie Flowers. I'm located right here in Shelby Township, Michigan, so just in the Metro Detroit area. But my journey is a unique one, and I'm excited about it because I really believe that it's crafted me, obviously, to be who I am today and also, more importantly, where I'm going. But my life really began in the trajectory of transformation when I began as an entrepreneur at 19 years old. So I was in college, I was preparing for medical school, I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. And at that time, the thought process was very simple. I wanted to help people and I wanted to make good money, right? I grew up with a single mother who was a social worker. So I never wanted for anything. We were very blessed. But I did have aspirations. I wanted to be, I wanted to have the home on the lake, right? Where you walk out, ends, the sand begins, and from the sand there's the lake, right? Because we're here in Michigan, so we're not thinking ocean front, we're thinking lakefront. And so being a physician was going to afford me that in my mind. I was willing to have the delayed gratification and put in the work, and when later in life I was okay with that. However, I started shadowing physicians, and I quickly realized that their quality of life wasn't such the lifestyle that I wanted for my family. Not having a father in my life, I didn't want to be that to my children. I didn't want to be in a position where all you knew him by was a checkbook, right? And occasional appearances because the commitment was 12, 16-hour days. And so, unfortunately, I got introduced to the industry of network marketing, got started, struggled for my first year, going from 19 to 20. By 21, though, the light bulb shifted when I found out I was going to be a father to my first child, who's now 14 years old, right? Getting ready to turn 15, which is pretty remarkable. Yeah, so I have we listen to the same music now, right? So that's fun. And I made a decision to commit, and that was the first reinvention where I had to go from becoming this kid, arrogant, snotty nose, to investing in personally engaging in the process of transformation, so that I could be successful. And so, really diving into the Zig Ziglars, Jim Rohns, Napoleon Hills of the world, and Earl Nightingale. The list goes on and on. Les Brown, to really cultivate the mind, sped into that industry over the next year. After 21 and 22, I built a 6-figure income, a 7-figure business, scaled it to multiple. And then by the time I got to 26, there was a time for another reinvention. I just didn't like this one. And this particular one was the time that God wanted to refine me, because I started to believe that it was because of me that this success was happening, right? So as a result, I end up losing that business, right? It tumbled, it crumbled. And it was one of those like scenarios, and some of you who are listening right now, where you realize that you were the catalyst, but there was more at work here than just your efforts, right? Like what was happening couldn't just be done by your efforts. So you had to, your attention was needing to be redirected. And so that's when I went into the phase of creating the art of struggle, where I really looked at my scope of my life, and I started embracing where I was at, embracing that I lost this, that my arrogance had caused it, my distractions had allowed me to lose focus on what was important, serving the people. And so through that refinement process, I was getting closer to God. I was writing the art of the struggle. I was really becoming aware of who I was and what I needed to do in order to improve. And so that journey then led me into consulting for network marketing companies, both public and private. I put my book on the shelf for a whole year. So I wrote it in 2015, but I didn't release it until 2016 because I wanted to use the 5 laws myself. And so that's what's been pretty miraculous ever since then. And so I started consulting. And then through relationships that led me to launching a trade company with a gentleman where we started shipping vodka, whiskey, and rum to the Indian government over in India. Okay. So that was like the first international traditional big business venture, stepped into, really exciting, raised capital, built out infrastructure in both the United States and India, working in different time zones internationally, traveling to India, which is a remarkable place to go visit. Been there twice now. And so we got that venture started. And that took me into another venture, into Forex trading, where we own a proprietary training platform where we had traders that used to work for the big banks work for us. We raised the capital. They traded for us. It was a win-win. And then I got into the tech space. And so I became a tech investor. I invested into a company now that's been featured twice in Forbes, Citizens Reserve, Wall Street Journal, TechCrunch. They're changing the whole way, the world of supply chain works and the exchange of value. And that journey, so it was a constant evolution of shifting, but growing through that whole process. And then finally today, as you know, I've owned multiple companies. I was associated, I had you on our stage with the Top Summit, owning that platform. But I've really narrowed my focus to really focus on what I believe is my chance, right? Like we all have that moment that we're working towards. And I've been fortunate enough to really step into that moment right now in this season at 35 years old, where that same tech founder came to me and said, Reggie, you should probably start a tech company. And I'm like, what am I going to tech? I don't even know, right? I work with people, I develop people, understand business. Like, what am I going to tech? And it wasn't more than 48 hours later that my best friend of 30 years called me and asked me a question. He said, Reggie, what do you know about dog breeding? And I'm like, I know how to get pregnant. That's about it. And he was like, well, here's what I'm doing. And when he told me what he was doing, but he started talking about the problem. And for those of you who are listening, if you're an entrepreneur, the greatest opportunities as an entrepreneur comes when you solve a problem. And he
Yeah.
brought me the problem that was happening globally with breeding, the fraudulent activities. And then through blockchain, our relationship, we've created technology that essentially makes us like the Carfax for breeding, right? And so now I've been laser focused on developing this company, growing this company, getting ready to raise capital for this company. And yes, and along that journey, I met my beautiful wife. We were together 6 years. We lost her in 2018 as a result of cancer. So I'm a widower of three wonderful children. And as we say, the marathon continues. And it's constantly been a level of reinvention along the way, constantly.
Thank you. And thank you, as always, and generally in your life, for being as open, for being as vulnerable. Uh, it is quite something for me to sit here, us on this platform, talking to people, having people listening and viewing and watching. And I think when I first met you, you were in your, I think, mid-20s at that point, and we would be at conventions for network marketing, and always after the convention, you would be open, you would be there, you would be in the lobby of hotels, you would be sharing. And I can distinctly remember staying up 11, 12, midnight, whatever it may be, and just listening to you. How much faith you had, in people, in the process and what we were going through. And I remember thinking to myself, how gifted of an orator you were, where you could just relate to everyone, no matter what their background was, what their age was, what their experience had been, unifying everyone in the crowd. And I can distinctly remember that years later, reaching out to you and always being in a place of learning from you. So I appreciate you, your openness to share. And I think that says so much, because one of the themes I think about when I look at your life and I think about all those things you just described, it's about being generous. It's about being generous with your heart. It's about being generous with your thoughts. You've gone through some of the most exhilarating and wonderful times one can imagine. And you've also had the unfortunate experience of
Does your business MobiPop? A new way to grow your business. Using a simple keyword, drive customers right to you with just a click. Customers will receive your personalized digital business card within seconds, with all your contact information in one place, including a gallery of photos, videos, and clear call to action that drives sales. Promote your products and services, or share a hot new listing with custom event pages and RSVP form, boosting qualified leads. Special offers and promotions are directly sent to your potential customers' phones with text campaigns, increasing foot traffic and creating a loyal following. Let MobiPop drive your marketing campaign. Focus on your business. Let MobiPop focus on growing it.
The way you live your life says a lot about you. The way you choose to commemorate your lifetime can say even more. It's a single event that speaks volumes. So how do you celebrate a life? Dignity Memorial providers believe that your memorial service should be as unique as you are, reflecting your personality and your passions. It should be a perfectly tailored send-off, a fitting tribute for family and friends to celebrate the person they love. We're professionals at catering to your every need, right down to the catering. In fact, no detail is too small. So when it comes time for a fitting tribute, we'll see that your final wishes are beautifully fulfilled. It's what Dignity Memorial providers are known for. And why you should rely on us to see that your life is well celebrated. The celebration of a lifetime begins here.
Does your business Moby Pop? A new way to grow your business. Using a simple keyword, drive customers right to you with just a click. Customers will receive your personalized digital business card within seconds with all your contact information in one place, including a gallery of photos, videos, and clear call to action that drives sales. Promote your products and services or share a hot new listing with custom event pages and RSVP form, boosting qualified leads. Special offers and promotions are directly sent to your potential customers' phones with text campaigns, increasing foot traffic and creating a loyal following. Let MobiPop drive your marketing campaign. Focus on your business. Let MobiPop focus on growing it.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one.
You have been watching The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. It's time to embrace change and make all things possible. Let's dive back in and turn those dreams into reality. Now, back to Pamela Chanel.
Hi guys, so unfortunately Miss Pamela Chanel David is having a few technical issues, so she's decided to hand it over to Reggie to finish up the show for her. So take it away.
Awesome. Well, I have to tell you, this is the true definition of improvising for sure, because I was expected to be interviewed. Therefore, I'm going to just communicate reinvention really from experience and from a perspective. So for those of you who are watching right now, you're in a season of your life where you're seeking that radical transformation, right? We entered in a pretty unique season where we experienced COVID-19. And for any of you that were directly impacted, I want you to know that my family, as well as our hearts, goes to your family in this time. And I hope that in this season you can see the blessing of COVID, because this was a true definition of reinvention. COVID caused many entrepreneurs and individuals that are working for these companies to reinvent themselves. And some people chose the latter, which could have been not doing what they need to do, or the former, which is taking advantage of the opportunity. And so I want to talk to you about what I did during the season, because some of our businesses were impacted negatively, and other businesses thrived, right? So I had an opportunity, like this dichotomy of seeing the reinvention of both heading in two different directions. And so the first thought would be is that when adversity takes place in your life, how are you going to respond? How are you going to internalize the adversity? Do you see it as a negative, as an adverse effect in your life, or do you see it as an opportune time to get better, to develop skills, to increase your courage, your capacity, your capability to do more? See, there are people right now that are reinventing their businesses, they're reinventing their personal lives, their love lives, their relationships with their children, all to improve upon what it is that they stand for. And I think the first step we have to do in order to be clear on taking our trajectory to a new level, which is the direction your life is heading in, is to really to start with gaining clarity. You need a vision for your life. You need to be so clear, because now for the people who were unfocused, unclear, COVID-19 was a major distraction for them. It caused people to become unhealthy mentally. It caused people to increase obviously in weight, caused depression. There's a lot of non-positive responses people had because they weren't clear, they weren't focused. But the people who are super clear, the people who are focused, the people who were already on a path before COVID happened, they just made some adjustments, but they're continuing on that. And I think the difference between the two people is having a vision. And so it's not what you see that's happening in your life, it's what you believe and envision that's going to transpire in your life that allows you to lock into that belief system. So the first thing you need to do is you need to write down a plain vision and make it clear on exactly what it is that you expect to see out of your life moving forward. And you need to break it down into 2, 5, 10-year increments, and just think to yourself, what would my life look like in the next 5 years if I showed up differently, if I educated myself differently, if I reevaluated my associations with people and got people in my life that could add value to me differently? What does that look like, right? Then the next step you want to do is evaluate your belief system. Because to reinvent yourself, you have to believe, number one, that you're worthy of that transformation. You have to believe that you have the capacity to get into this thought process, that there's so much more available to me that I need to believe myself into it. And so part of changing your belief system, because wherever you're at in your life is a direct reflection of what you believe, because your belief system indicates your behavior indicates your activity, and your activity is going to produce the results, right? So that belief is the fundamental foundational level that determines what the results overall in your life are and what they're going to be. So one of the exercises that I have done with coaching clients that I've worked with in the past and companies I've worked with is I said, we got to begin to transform the environment. And I remember when my environment was not a almost 5,500 square foot home, and it wasn't this. It was living with my mother as a grown man in her extra bedroom because I had fallen down, and I had to create this multi-million-dollar environment in a 1,500 square foot home. Okay, so how do you do something like that? How do you look at the fact that your credit is shot? You have no money in the bank, right? All circumstances. But you begin to realize those things are necessary and temporary, right? So you begin to create visions using your computer, using boards, using stories that you want to begin to tell yourself to recraft what is possible for you, because you got to realize that if others have reinvented their lives and done well, why can't you? What do they have that you don't have, right? It becomes a simple process. So you can do it. It's not easy, but it is simple. And if you put forth the work, you can create an environment. Like on my office wall here, I printed 5 key people that were on the front covers of Forbes that inspired me, and I'm gonna put them in frames, and that's gonna be my billionaire wall. What do you think I'm telling myself subconsciously, right? I'm creating a billionaire wall for a reason. I'm working on a tech project for a reason, right? And the blessing is that COVID-19 is elevating my tech project because I was focused. I was intentional on what I was going to do in this season. And then the third thing that I would tell you is that you got to take action. Some of you are like so filled with knowledge, so filled with information, but you lack wisdom. And because of your lack of wisdom, you don't know when to move and when not to move. And one of my mentors always taught me is that a great entrepreneur or individual that's seeking goals understands when to move. And during this pandemic, this is the time to move. This is the time why people are standing still, twiddling their thumbs, concerned, worried, not looking for the solution. The people are creating the solutions. They're also enhancing solutions, improving upon solutions or problems. Those are the people that are going to capitalize and do the most for themselves and their families. And you have that same opportunity. And so, in this season of reinvention, you have to become comfortable with the idea of getting uncomfortable. Anyone who's doing anything that's noteworthy, reading worthy, anyone that you follow who's created millions or billions of dollars from scratch, they were uncomfortable. It is not comfortable, this type of life, creating this life, but when you get there, it becomes very comfortable, right? So it's okay to be uncomfortable for a season. It's okay to have a season of separation. It's okay that not everybody's going to agree with you. You reinvent. Even in the Bible, it talks about the renewing of mind. This is your season to renew. This is your season to improve. And that we're so grateful to God that He gave us healthy minds that we can change. So look, you got to begin to ignore the person that's been with you for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, subconsciously. And you got to trust the new person that's showing up on your shoulder that's only been there maybe today or been there for the last year that's trying to encourage you to go in a different direction. There's a battle between the old and new. But here's what I want you to know. That the new person, if you begin to challenge the old thoughts, the old ways, can reinvent your life. And through reinvention, great things can happen for you. And so what are some of the takeaways that I'd like you to do? Number one, find some people who inspire you. Start with YouTube. Find them on Facebook, Instagram. Add them to your profile. Add them to your watch list. And begin just to take in some new information. You'll be surprised what inspires you, what encourages you. Hearing their stories. I'll never forget being there broke, hearing about people who were there broke and they found solutions, they persevered, they were tenacious, and they transformed their lives. So you can begin to create an environment using social media, using pictures, reading, right? It's actually a great book for you to read right here. This helped transform my life. I used it, so I know it to be incontrovertible, the 5 laws. But this is your time. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to choose to do with it now? And if you're really at a place where you're sick and tired of not being where you believe that you should be, then we got to work on developing some new fundamental skills that will allow you to do that. And so, with that, I'll turn it back over to Miss Pamela Chanel. I know we have like a minute left, but I'm glad you're able to get back on.
Absolutely amazing. I know that was so incredible, and helping people really to understand that journey. Do you have any final thoughts at all? I mean, that information was incredible. And that's what this show is really all about, is sharing with people what's possible and what can be done.
Well, I think my final thoughts would be just, I built my first $1 million company when I was 21. Built it up to multiple 7 figures. By 25, lost it. And now the company that I'm creating along with my portfolio now is into the tens of millions. So I think it's possible to realize that even when things don't work out the way you want them to work out, you have to see the beauty in that and realize that it's an opportunity for refinement, opportunity to extract the lesson, harness the lesson, and then allow it to propel you forward as opposed to pull you backwards. And that is the art of struggle. And that's why I wrote about the art of struggle.
Amazing. And I think the most important thing for people to see in all of this is the ability that you can change. And I know change feels so risky for some. And oftentimes people will stay with what's more familiar than maybe what is actually more favorable and more relevant in their life. But the real risk comes from not changing. The real risk comes from not embracing all that there is to embrace and all that there is to garner from life. So I can't thank you enough. Even with our own technical difficulties, we're still able to bring value to our listeners, values to our viewers. Thank you for being on the Reinvented Life. Reggie Flowers, you're the ultimate consummate professional. Thank you for showing that struggle can actually be a beautiful thing and overcoming it. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for tuning in to The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Tune in each week so we can work and grow together to become the best version of ourselves. Keep striving, keep dreaming, keep working, and embrace change. You may contact Pamela Chanel at info@thereinventedlife.com.